Welcome, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We will get started in just a moment as our attendees continue to file in here. Okay, I think everyone is in now. Welcome to the introduction to ControlSense.ai. My name is Henry Chi. I'm the Chief Product Officer, and joined with me is Ed Zimmer, the CEO and co-founder. We'll do a brief introduction, and then we'll get into the agenda. So, Ed, take it away.
Sure, thanks. And thanks everyone for joining. Just quick background. I've worked at Citi for over 30 years, first as a technology auditor, and then as a director in their audit innovation team. But throughout my audit career, I've been committed to improving the audit process through automation. And now artificial intelligence capabilities provide us with great new opportunities to enhance audit productivity, quality, even audit assurance. And that inspired us to develop ControlSense, and we'll provide a lot more details as we go forward. Over to you, Henry.
Once again, I'm Henry Shi, knew Ed from his time at Citi in audit, about 20 years of experience in risk control, audit, both in consulting as well as in the business. Joined ControlSense a little bit earlier this year. Really excited to have seen the product in action, and hopefully we'll be able to demonstrate some of those things to you today. All right, so going through today's agenda, we'll talk a little bit about the challenges of audit, some that are probably very familiar to all of you guys. We'll introduce ControlSense, what it is, give you a sense of the idea, the background behind why it was developed, and the like. We will do live demos as promised, talk through next steps and Q&A. Throughout this webinar, you will be able to do question and answers. We have a Q&A session at the end, so feel free to pop those in and we'll take those at the end. And finally, we'll also have a couple polls throughout just to get a sense for, the audience here, and actually some input that will drive and influence some parts of the live demo as well. Okay.
Great.
So we'll start off with a poll. In your audit teams or personally, right, for the purpose of audit, how extensively are you or your audit teams using AI today? First being no use, very, very minimal. Second is limited, maybe there's some Copilot, ChatGPT, and the like that you'll use with prompts that you need to develop. Or something more extensive where it's built into your audit workflow. It's kind of part of your normal methodology. There's built-in procedures and the like, or configurations for you to use AI. So we will give everyone a little moment. Okay. All right. I think we have majority of the poll in, so I'm gonna close that. So it looks like the majority, Ed, is for our audience today is limited use. So presuming using the general tools like ChatGPT and Copilot, which is I think pretty standard practice today, right?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That's some of the experience that I've seen over the years. So very good. Okay, good. All right. Well, what I'd like to do then is just go through some of the challenges that really motivated us to develop ControlSense. First of all, from a resource point of view, as we all know, executive management does have high expectations of internal audit for increased audit coverage, often asking teams to do more with the same number of resources, or sometimes even fewer resources. And as you probably can all attest to, audit workflows do contain a number of manual processes, and that's performed by auditors with various levels of skills and experience. And what happens is the result of developing deliverables and whatever is inconsistent audit quality. And that often causes multiple management review cycles. I know I was in the middle of review cycles back and forth, and that can be frustrating and time consuming, and it impacts the budgeted audit hours. From a training point of view, let's face it, audit training I've attended several audit report writing and issue writing classes. So there's a lot of time that's spent addressing these quality challenges instead of maybe the more added value training that could be performed on the emerging business risk and technology environment. So it does impact a lot of different things. And finally, regarding technology, audit is often asked to reduce expenses like anybody else. And as a result, the reduced expenses often impact our technology budget. So we can't always ask for the tools that we think are appropriate. So that's really the challenges that I wanted to mention. So
Yeah.
Henry, back to you on the poll, I think.
Yeah. So we'll take a quick poll. So Ed mentioned a couple different polls. We'll launch another one here, right? So the idea is, or the thought here is, from the audience here, which one of these statements resonate the most with you guys, right? Ed and I, having been in audit before, I'm certain it's hard to pick just one, but is it, we're always being asked to do more with less. The time spent to make the updates and revisions, like Ed just mentioned, inability to take the time to implement some of these cutting edge tools that you hear in the news or people are always talking about as kind of the next frontier. Or just in general, a lot of these audit deliverables take a lot of time to just create. All right. All right, you guys are pretty fast voters. So we have a majority in. It looks like the majority is the first one, Ed. So you're always being asked to doing more with less. I think that is a very common challenge, and that we see consistently, right, throughout.
Yeah, the budget challenges on both sides from an hours or whatever is always difficult, and I think that's why we can go right into ControlSense. That's really why we develop ControlSense. I mean, artificial intelligence capabilities, as we all know, are very quickly evolving and being accepted. And as a result, the use of AI by audit, I don't think is optional anymore. It really should be part of internal audit's overall strategy. And again, we are inspired to develop ControlSense, which is a personal AI assistant that is customized for internal audit. Now, back to the poll. I know a lot of people might be using generic AI tools, but ControlSense does go far beyond the generic AI tools that are currently available. Our platform was built based upon audit standards. We create consistent and high quality audit deliverables, and these deliverables can be customized to meet the specific requirements of your audit methodology. So there's no back and forth or reformatting. Everything is just established. ControlSense does meet the strategic audit needs that I mentioned before because it provides enhanced productivity. It addresses the do more with less thing. But more importantly, it also addresses audit quality, and it provides added assurance by enhanced audit testing of controls across large populations. Therefore, the manual effort is dramatically reduced through the automation of these audit workflows. So in the past, auditors always seem to rely on past audit work. You would go to your old work papers, but now ControlSense will leverage this deep knowledge base of current business information. We're not going backwards, we're going forwards, right? And it enables auditors to take actions to proactively identify and then address emerging risks. So it's really a key part of our adding value to stakeholders. Now, as indicated here, ControlSense has been built upon three foundational pillars that transform the audit experience. Regarding the speed and productivity, ControlSense automates each phase of the audit lifecycle. It generates high-quality planning memos. It creates risk and control matrices. Audit issues are created very quickly, and audit reports are generated, frankly, instantly. And by eliminating hundreds of hours of this manual effort, auditors are free to focus on what the audit stakeholders ask of us, our insight, our judgment, and our strategic engagement with our stakeholders. Regarding elevating assurance and coverage, business risk, as we all know, are constantly changing and growing more complex. Now, ControlSense handles this by promoting completeness of audit coverage by going back into that deep pool of current business information, and it actually goes in and recommends the business processes, the risk controls, even audit tests that pertain directly to the business that you're auditing. And from an assurance point of view, instead of relying on traditional sample-based testing, ControlSense does empower non-technical auditors to test controls across large data populations. It has a no-code interface. Auditors can easily import data. They can enter questions that evaluate control effectiveness and identify outliers without any real coding training. And again, it goes back to training is simplified because everyone almost becomes a data analyst within the team. So we become a strategic partner by combining productivity and assurance. ControlSense empowers auditors to shift from execution to insight. We advise the business, anticipate risk, and deliver the strategic value that I mentioned before. We provide a cost-effective, advanced AI workflows to audit departments of all sizes and technical capabilities to meet these strategic goals. So we're going to hand it back to Henry to provide some additional details beyond what I just mentioned.
So kind of bringing all that into what ControlSense is from a functionality. As mentioned, we built this in with the whole audit lifecycle in mind. So from planning to field work to audit reporting. Here's a couple of the key modules that we have built out. The ones in bold in particular will be something that we will leave up to the audience to vote on in regards to what we demonstrate today from a demo perspective. But I'll quickly go through each one of these kind of nine modules that we're highlighting. The guided planning memo is a key audit deliverable, right, in regards to memorializing the scope of the audit as you go through planning, the risks and the like, overall scope, business areas, et cetera, et cetera. A guided RCM creation, which is especially useful if you are looking into emerging risks, new audits, the like, or taking a look at the old audit scope and making sure that you have the correct coverage from a risk and control perspective. Test script creation, which helps create test scripts that during planning that you can then use in field work. Document chat, which is a feature that's pretty similar to some of the tools that are out there, but again, as a whole package, it allows you to put in, for instance, large PDFs of regulations, you're able to ask questions and have some of that summarized for you so that it's a little easier to digest or take your first step into understanding some of the requirements or policies and procedures and the like. Data analytics testing, which is something that Ed had touched on earlier, allowing you to take data sets, put it in kind of simple English and ask questions, right? For it to then pop it back out without extensive training on coding or SAS or anything like that. Issue draft creation. At the end of field work, you think you've found a couple exceptions, confirmed factual accuracy. You're able to put in a couple sentences of what you found, the extent of the exceptions that you identified, and then it will give you a good starting point for how your issue can be structured, with your consequence, concerns, impact, et cetera, et cetera. Going into reporting, action plan creation. So typically this will be something from the business, but as you have an issue, you can leverage this to make sure that what the business has come back with is maybe sufficient, or if they're struggling, maybe this is a tool that they can then use to help draft some of the an appropriate action to really address the issue that you have identified. Audit report creation. Audit report creation can be pretty extensive, even if you have a set methodology or standard in place. It is something where you can have a complete RCM, throw it into ControlSense, and within a couple seconds, it'll give you kind of a full drawn out audit report draft that you can then continue to tinker, but it'll get you 90% of the way there. And then the audit executive summary, this is post-implementation. You'd be able to tie into some of the data sources that you have to help identify trending, emerging risks, and the like. Okay. So I'm going to open up another poll here. And the question here is, of the highlighted areas, so guided planning memo, RCM creation, data analytics, or audit report creation, which one do you, sorry, I did not update the poll for this one, but instead data analytics, it was issue draft creation. I think no matter what, Ed, since we are pretty excited about the data analytics, I'll do that one anyway. So
yeah, exactly. Okay.
I'll give it another 10 seconds or so.
All right, great.
We have the majority of votes in. It is a dead heat between RCM creation and audit report creation.
That's great. I mean, that makes sense, Henry, because those are like the heart and soul of the audit anyway. You have to create a great RCM, and then the audit report really is what everyone sees. So I can see that as being the most important.
All right. So with that, I think what we'll do, I think we should have enough time, and I'm sure this is what people have come here to see. I think we'll be able to demonstrate both RCM and audit report creation. They're literally 50-50 right now. So so we'll do that. I'll throw in the data analytics as well, just so we can get a sense of, or the users can get a sense of, how it might work, how they may be able to use it throughout kind of all three life cycles, right? Phases of the life cycle. All right, so I am going to bring up ControlSense here.
And
so,
there you go. Okay, you got it already. Cool.
Yeah. I have it loaded. So here's the main site. Anyone can access it today. You can quickly, in case you're interested, I'll go through how to get access to the demo environment that we're demonstrating today, so that you yourself can kind of play around with it and the like. First, you would then go to pricing. Over here under ControlSense Essentials Access, you can then click Get Started Now. Oh, I have it. I'm logged in already, so let me do that again. You then will be able to sign up with your email and password. Because I have an account already, I'm able to just sign in directly. Okay. All right. So here's the basis of ControlSense, the home page. On the left side, you will see the couple modules that I just had highlighted. So let's follow the audit lifecycle, right? Right now, this is all mock data, right? So this isn't some other company's data that you're looking at. This is mock data just to for users to be able to click in and get a sense of what it may, how ControlSense looks and feels. So we'll start with the planning under the guided RCM, right? So you'll see a series of prompts, maybe not too foreign to those that have used ChatGPT, but these will be very specific prompts, which don't require too much engineering of the words that you then put in, right? So for instance, in this case, if we go with the theme of cybersecurity, the first page here is, all right, what's the business process? So we'll just say cybersecurity. Say it's a new audit that we know we need to do. We haven't done it before. We want to get a good sense of some of the topics that we would need to cover as part of our planning, right? So let's just say cybersecurity. Within the process, are there any sub processes that will be the main area of focus? Let's say we want to do a full overall cybersecurity audit. I'm not going to put anything in, right? If I were to do a an existing audit that's already on a cycle, I may throw in some of the sub process I've previously looked at, incident management, patch management, vulnerability, et cetera, et cetera. But in this case, I'm starting fresh, so I will leave it blank. All right. Any IT applications were, say, at the beginning of planning, I don't know that yet, so I will continue that as well. And obviously, I'm just showing kind of at a base, even if you don't have all that information, what ControlSense can bring to you as kind of a starting point. In regards to the risks, I'm going to tell it to propose some risks to me. Oops. And similarly, it'll say, what kind of controls you have. Again, if you have a prior control RCM from, the last 3 years, you can throw these in. But the reality is, in this case, we're starting fresh. We want to see, what ControlSense pops back out. So I'll say propose controls to me. And the idea is this will get you off the ground, and then as you do your planning work, you may adjust the wording, add new controls, remove some that are out of your scope, and the like. And then I'll just say, these will be automatically labeled, but you can then make updates as see fit. So I will then click submit.
So it's important to note for the audience that even when you do have the prior knowledge, ControlSense goes out and gets the current information. So you can then use it to compare against what you might already have to just double check the completeness of the controls that you're going to be testing. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Henry.
No problem. So in the couple seconds Ed was talking, we have a broad RCM, right? You can see it covers a number of different risks from unauthorized access, very key in cybersecurity, right, to things like network security, security patches, incident management, data loss, right, and training, right. So ControlSense will also allow you to download RCM. In this case, it'll pop out with a structure that we have configured, but if implemented within for your team, this can be all customized to fit kind of the columns and the structure that is suitable to your methodology and existing processes. So I'm going to open up the Excel version. Bring that up. And again, it just puts in the Excel version. You can then edit. I'm sure it goes through several levels of approval and the like, but this will give you a very good starting point to start your planning work on.
Yeah, and it takes a lot of the manual work out of filling in all the background information and identifying risk controls, and so it does it, as you can see, within a few seconds. So from there you can continue to work on it, but I think it's a great starting point.
Okay. So moving on to field work. Prior to the demo, I did create a mock file, right, of one of the standard tests that we'll do for instance, cybersecurity would be something like user access reviews, right? On a periodic basis, we should have role-based kind of user access reviews and the like. So created a little bit of mock data. I'll upload that now so that you can see from a data analytics perspective. How easy it is to use, right, from that perspective. So let me choose a file. So this is a RCM that we just downloaded. But if we do the mock data here, so this will be a pretty straightforward example. But you can see the first name, last name, the user IDs, the manager name, hire date, last review date for this user access. So a typical question we may ask is, how many users did not have a periodic review performed in the last 12 months, right? So maybe it's 24 months, but 12 months is pretty standard. 6 months is even better, depending on your own company's cybersecurity policy and the like. It may vary, but we can prompt that in. You'll see that this has 17 pages of data. I think it's got something like 800 lines, I believe, is what I had created. And then in that time, after prompting, it'll tell us 55 users. One of the things that we are furthering to improve is kind of the output in the UI so that we can then better explain which 55 users, right? Which I think would be very useful, at which point then you would then investigate further, right, in regards to which users they are. So we have 55 users. Maybe another thing that we'd want to ask now that we have the 55 users on, all right, how do we start pulling at the thread, trying to get to root cause and the like, right? Let's ask, which managers have the most instances where the review was not performed in the last 12 months. So same data set, right? Just trying to get a little more insight in regards to, so here we go. The manager with the most instances where the review was not performed in the last month was Chris Smith with 15 instances each. So this tells us, out of the 55, right, 15 are there. So very big chunk there. Maybe that's where we start to understand, why weren't these done? Were there some extenuating circumstances that, because the policy allows and the like, where these were not done, right? So this is kind of just a very quick example of how you may be able to use the data analytics to help with some of the field work, right? There will always be further root cause analysis, questions, interviews, right? As part of audit, that's where audit really shines and benefits the organization to understand those circumstances and then obviously bring them to light. But this is a very quick way to help you get some additional and quick insights. All right, now moving on to audit report. So we have an RCM. If we were to we're at the end of the field work now, right? And we want to start creating the audit report, drafting the audit report. So this is something I generated because I couldn't generate it on the spot, but going with the cybersecurity theme, we had a couple different examples of the RCM. This is essentially the part that I generated, right? Hey, we have, say, 3 different tests that had failed with some, some details behind it. So this is very simple as we're demonstrating, but again, as part of an input file or your standard RCM, we can customize ControlSense to accompany your methodology and standard formats and the like. So this is what I'm going to upload from an audit report perspective or from an RCM perspective to generate the audit report. So this is that. So you'll see kind of what we had here, right? Exceptions noted, the test results, pass, fail. And then we'll click generate.
So what it's doing now is it's going into all the failed audit tests, and it's actually creating a report and evaluating and summarizing those issues so you can really have an excellent first draft audit report. That was pretty quick.
Yeah, it never fails to amaze, Ed. I remember the first time I saw it, and um, at Citi we had a very standard format that we used, but even then it took a very long time to have it all populated and the like. And so I think that's probably that pain point specifically, Ed, that whether from
Right.
personal experience or not, that you really had envisioned, right?
Exactly.
So here's a generated audit report. We have a broader, executive summary opinion, right, of what we had evaluated and the like. Control rating. Again, this would be customized to your own rating severity levels and the like. But as an example, from an audit scope perspective, what the overview was, what type of areas were reviewed, what kind of key business processes were reviewed, a summary of the findings, as well as in the appendix, a more specific write-up, right? And then all of this can be downloaded into a Word document for further editing. And let me see if I can pull that up now.
As you can see, though, when the issues, it has the concern, root cause, impact, the context. It has a perfectly formatted issue that meets directly with audit standards, and I
Yep.
think that's some of the things that are much better than some of our more generic AI tools that we have. This can be, we establish it, we get it into your format, and it's
Yep.
instantly created. Go ahead.
So you can see now this is essentially the same information that we just saw on the screen before, but with, in a Word document, right? There will always be levels of review as much as we'd like to get rid of it. But the idea is that we get it 90% of the way there. It has all the information. Maybe there are some stylistic tweaks, negotiation with the business and the like. But, this will remove that barrier at the very beginning when we're trying to make this into one broader audit report. So all right, so let's going back to the deck. We'll go back to kind of just summarizing what you saw, right?
Yeah, I'll take this, Henry, because as you can see here, from the poll, you did talk about the concerns regarding being asked to do more with less resources. And as you can see, ControlSense really does significantly increase audit productivity. It addresses resources challenges by reducing the time to develop audit deliverables and even perform audit testing. Really importantly, the audit quality is also improved. Audit deliverables now meet industry standards without, the back and forth that's needed. Consistency and deliverable requirements are significantly reduced the management review time. Audits are delivered faster, and the quality is even better. And the audit assurance is achieved with the non-technical auditors um, testing and actually performing data analysis. If you think about all the training that you try to provide to the non-technical auditors to do data analytics, that really almost disappears now because the control testing of large data populations can really be performed by everyone. Okay, Henry.
All right, so with that, hopefully ControlSense is something that sounds interesting to you guys. There's a couple different routes that you can take. We highly recommend anyone that is interested to sign up for the demo environment, right? And again, it's a demo environment. You can go to that link, get started now, and just really test out the functionality. Happy also to take feedback as well, based off your exploration. If this tool is something that is of interest to you and your team, there is a contact form that we have, at which point we will then schedule kind of a more specific call to understand your needs, and maybe just a sense of what type of implementation would work the most or the best for your team and your company. Otherwise, Ed and I are all very easily accessible. So you can email us at henry@controlsense.ai or ed@controlsense.ai. We will move into our Q&A then, and we have a couple here. So Ed, first one, I'll ask it for you. Of the, we both had talked about being from banking, but is this tool specific to the banking industry?
No, that's a great question. Thanks for the question, folks. But it really, as you can see, this tool can be applied to just about any industry, any function. And that's the beauty of it, right? It's really specific to the questions that you enter, and it can go in and provide the details across all industries, all functions, and throughout, really globally. So it also can go in and do more global reviews based upon the needs of your particular department.
The next one I'll take, Ed. It's asking about our AI technology, what AI technology we use, what model family and the like. So just to summarize, we have not developed our own. We do use ChatGPT as an example of one of the LLMs, but the way that the tool was built, we can leverage the API calls based off of whatever your company currently has licenses for. So while the demo environment, for instance, uses a couple of the LLMs that are well known out there, if your company, for instance, has a specific license for at a global level or at a company level, we can change those API calls to that LLM. There are also, not to get too technical, but a different implementation that can be done that isolates it so that it does not use an API call. There will be essentially it'll be contained within a particular environment that we can then use for implementation at that point in time. Next one, so I think this was probably right before we just got into the last page. It was a question about the access to the demo environment. So let me just go back, and you can just go to ControlSense.ai pricing, click Get Started Now, and sign up for an email. An account, and start testing it out. Let's see. Where would my data be stored? Our network or third party? So, and the security. So obviously a very, very important question. Would expected it from a team of auditors here, right? It will depend on the implementation structure. For the most part, we can implement it within your company's network. Therefore, then it can leverage and follow your company's data security management practices. We are looking at, as part of kind of the roadmap, implementing a SaaS model for ControlSense as well. This demo environment is the demo environment. So while it's secure within our environment, highly, protect your confidential data. So test it out. It's really meant for test environment and maybe some lighter type of reviews. But once we do get to the point where we're implementing to your environment, then it'll be secure and specific to your data, right?
Yeah, it'll never leave your infrastructure. It'll never go outside of your environment. So that's not a problem.
Yeah, and even with the SaaS model, there will be isolation of different companies' data. So the SaaS is not, we're not going live with that just yet, but it is something that we're working towards. Okay. And then I think the last one, so we kind of touched upon it in regards to, how much time will it take to customize ControlSense? Really, it's just part of the implementation, in regards to working with your teams, your technology. I don't know, Ed, if there's anything else you want to add to that.
No, I just think, the customization should be pretty straightforward. It's just really we do mapping. Audit is audit. The formats are definitely usually always different, but at the end of the day, we have the core data that we can map and create a format so that, for example, what Henry showed you in the final audit report, it had ControlSense on there. It'll have your company's name on it. It'll have everything that looks exactly like what your company has been, your audit department has been providing to your stakeholders. It'll just create it 100 times faster, I guess, than doing it manually. So everything will be customized, and it also might even be an opportunity for you to change your audit report format. We could be happy to work with you on that also. Okay.
All right, that takes us to the last question there. I think in that case, just wanted to give everyone a big thank you for joining and showing your interest. Do not hesitate to reach out to Ed or myself if you have questions. And again, if you sign up for the demo and kind of click around and test it, happy to take some feedback as well, because while this is a pretty good working product, we have a roadmap. We're looking to improve both on the infrastructure side as well as from a user experience perspective. So that way we can get some real feedback from the audit community here.
Great. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that in closing, that ControlSense is just an extremely cost-effective and smart way to immediately enhance your audit productivity and quality and assurance, and it will directly meet your internal audit strategic goals. Again, these goals really are needed to kind of maintain a competitive advantage within audit and within your company. So happy to help. As Henry said, please sign up for the free trial, and most importantly, we're here to answer any questions going forward. Okay.
Thank you so much, guys. Have a good weekend ahead, and hopefully we'll be speaking soon.
Thank you very much, everyone.